What's up, everybody? It's your boy Johnny back here with another video. And today I would like to do a spotlight on one of Elvis's albums. This year marks the 60th anniversary of this album. Actually, it passed in April, but I still want to do it anyways. So this year marks the 60th anniversary of this album from Elvis, and that album is Elvis is Back. So today I want to give a little history on this album. I'm going to try to be brief. Going from the time he came back from the U.S. Army up to the release of this album and events that took place in between. And I'm going to give you some information along the way with visuals and all that good stuff. So let me just get started. All right. So March of 1960, Elvis comes back to the U.S. after being in the U.S. Army for 2 years. And during that time, Elvis really was wondering if people would remember him. He was worried about how his career would be when he got back. But in time, Elvis would find that he had nothing to worry about. All his fans were still there, and he was as big as ever. So, all right, so let's go back to March 5th. He is officially released from the U.S. Army. After that, he took about 2 weeks off. Then after that, Elvis went right back to work. Stayed busy really for the rest of the year. But you're going to find with some stuff I share with you that RCA moved very quick in this process. And the first thing he did was on March 20th, did an all-night session to start recording new music for his fans. So March 20th, Elvis headed to Nashville, RCA Studio B, which is a very famous studio for Elvis. He recorded in Nashville Studio B till about, I want to say 1971 was his last session he did there. So he did an all-night session, because that's how Elvis worked. He always did all-night sessions when he did recording sessions. So from March 20th to March 21st, Elvis recorded new material that would become Elvis is Back and new singles that would appear throughout the year of 1960. But just 2 days later, on March 23rd, again, RCA moved very quickly. They came out with Elvis's first single to the public since he's been back from the Army. Really only being back not even a month. Just maybe, 3 weeks? And they came out with this single. This is Elvis's first single, which ended up being, A-side being Stuck on You, and the B-side being Fame and Fortune, which quickly shot up the charts. Stuck on You went to #1. So let me just show you this real quick. So this is what the sleeve looks like. This is one of my favorite sleeves of Elvis. It's very unique because you never saw something like this ever again in his singles, as far as the die cut hole and all that. So, and it says Elvis's first recording for his 50 million fans all over the world. So, pretty awesome. And then here's the 45 itself. Here's the A side, Stuck on You, which became a big hit. Another #1 for Elvis. And here's the B side, Fame and Fortune, which I think hit the top 20. And right away, this single ended up going to sell 1 million copies, and like I said, went to #1. And a little collector's note: this is the regular single that was sold to the public. There is a very rare version of this single. I don't think it comes with a sleeve, but I think it's on both sides of the label. There's a living stereo version of this 45, and there's a few in the early, I want to say in the years 1960 and 61, he had a few that had living stereo, which were very, very rare pressings, because at this time, stereo wasn't really a big thing yet, like that, until like about the mid-60s. So if you have this one that says the living stereo, you got money in the bank. Not easy to find. I never seen one in person. All I know is they go for stupid money. So there you go. So then, 3 days after this single was released, Elvis boarded a train bound for Miami to record a TV special on the Frank Sinatra TV show, which I think Frank had his own TV show from the late 50s into, and I think Welcome Home Elvis was the last episode from the Frank Sinatra show. And that special was called Welcome Home Elvis. And this is very awesome to see because it's two legends on the big screen, on television, and performing together and separately just really cool to watch. And this is my DVD I have of that special. This includes the original commercials also, which was sponsored by Timex watches back in the day. And here's another cool visual I have. This is very rare. I probably got this in the last year. Not easy to find in good condition, and this is in pretty decent condition. I just don't want to, I need to be easy with it because it is very old. But this is the TV guide for that week that the Frank Sinatra show with the Welcome Home with Elvis special premiered. And that show ended up premiering, I think, Thursday night, May 12th, 9:30 to 10:30. So this is the original TV guide from May of 1960, which I think it caught a lot of ratings. And there's a couple of sections in here that feature Elvis and Frank. I'm just trying to be really easy with this, but this is old. Okay, here it is. There's a little piece to read right there, and there's a picture, as you can see. And it says, Elvis comes marching home to find out on a TV special with Frank Sinatra if the Presley magic still works. And it still did. And where's the second picture I saw of Elvis? Oh, right here. There you go. Pretty cool. It says, a quiet day at Miami Beach. Our correspondent reports on the taping of the Sinatra Presley show. And in the back, where it lists all the programs for that week, is this little advertisement. Pretty awesome. So if you want to read it, you can pause it, but pretty cool. Not easy to find in good shape. Some TV guys can go for a good amount of money, and this certainly is one of them. And of course, the first one he appeared on in the 56, which I have. But anyways, moving on. All right. So then after that, the next big thing that Elvis did on April 3rd, Elvis did another all-night recording session, which again turned into more material for Elvis is Back and other singles that would appear in 1960. So that went overnight, April 3rd to April 4th. And again, just 4 days later, you know what happened? This album hit stores. So they moved very, very quickly. Probably as soon as he finished recording this album, they just, boom, sent it to pressing plants, pressed everything, whatever, sent it to stores. And it became a really big success for Elvis, and it being a very good album. At the end of my video, I will give my final thoughts to this. But now I'm at a point where I want to show different pressings of this album that I have. Different pressings of this album, Elvis is Back, that I have on different formats and stuff affiliated with it. So let's get started. First, I'm going to show some vinyl I have. And I have seven pieces of vinyl of Elvis is Back. The first two are two original pressings in mono of Elvis is Back. Oh, that glare. You're probably like, Johnny, why do you have two pressings of this album? Well, for a collector's note, if you're a collector like me, you will find that this album is very hard to find in good shape. Very hard. This album was very prone to wear, especially right here on his face. Very prone to splitting because it is a gatefold. But, so anytime I find one that's in good shape, which I found a couple, I buy it because this album is just not easy to find in good shape. So let me take this out of here. I'm going to show you it more closely. Okay. All right, here's the original front cover. Technically, it's like this. And it opens like this, but we'll get to that in a minute. So here's the front cover. There's the listings of the tracks. And the tracks are, on side 1, Make Me Know It, Fever, The Girl My Best Friend, I Will Be Home Again, Dirty Dirty Feeling, Thrill of Your Love. Side 2 is Soldier Boy, Such a Night, I like that song. It Feels So Right, The Girl Next Door, Like a Baby, and Reconsider Baby. Very good tracks. And here's the back with a picture of him in his military outfit, or uniform. And inside the gatefold is pictures of Elvis, of him in the U.S. Army. And it says, bonus GI snapshots for your collection. And already, again, because he went to work right away, see Elvis in GI Blues. So they're already advertising GI Blues. Crazy. So, there you go. Pretty cool. And this is the original pressing. And I'm going to give some more collector's information. All right. See the sticker? Okay, if you see the girl next door on here, there is 2 different versions of this sticker. First of all, there are 2 different sizes. Second, with that track, the girl next door, there's a version of this sticker that says the girl next door went a walking. Like it says in the song, like a girl next door went a walking. So there's 2 different versions of this. And if you have that version with the girl next door went a walking, it's very, very rare. I never seen one myself. And sometimes you see this album without a sticker on it, which is kind of rare too. I would think maybe some got pressed without it, which is crazy because you wouldn't know what tracks are on here. And unless some people just took it off the cover, which I don't know why they would. But anyways, so here is an original mono pressing. Well, I have 2 of them of Elvis is Back. Let me just show you the original vinyl. To give you an idea of how to identify an original one. So here's the front, or side 1. And here is side 2. There you go. So, that is that. Alright, so another way to identify an original one, there would be no RE at the bottom where it says printed in USA. You got the catalog number there. That's pretty much a safe way to show that you have an original pressing. So if yours has that stuff, or doesn't have that stuff, it's original. So there you go for that. Alright. The next one I want to show is from 1960, and this is an original pressing in living stereo, but this is not a US pressing. It's a Canadian pressing, and the Canadian pressings are very close to US. When I originally bought this, I thought it was a US until I got home, but it's still really cool to have. I'm not really an import guy, but I am happy that I have it. This is in beautiful shape. You really can't go wrong. The only difference is the way the front cover is aligned. Usually it'd be sideways when you open it like this. It'd be this way. His face would be this way, I guess. If you get my drift, like that. But with the Canadian one, it's upright, if that makes sense. So, same with the back. But this is very cool to have. You got to be careful sometimes with the Canadians, especially the early ones. The Canadian pressings, they look like really like US ones. The main way you can tell if it's, besides if you're US, is on the label, where it says made in Canada by RCA Victor Company, Montreal, copyrighted. So, but just look at it. A quick glance, it looks like a US label. And that's basically how the US label would look. Only it would say printed in USA. So here's side 1. And here is side 2. So there you go. So that's my original living stereo version, Canadian pressing of Elvis is Back. Alright, so these next 2 presses I have are both, I want to say, the first reissue of this album back in the day. These are both from 1964. I have a 1964 pressing in mono and in stereo, a US pressings. So I'll just show you this real quick. It basically looks like the same album, except for the tracks are printed on the cover now. As you can see, the difference in the mono and the stereo. The track listings are aligned a little bit differently. So I'm going to show you the main ways how to tell if you have a 64 pressing. So at the bottom down here, it'll say printed in the USA RE. You still have the catalog number, but this is how you know, is the actual record label. But everything else is the same stuff in the gatefold and all that. All right, here's side 1. See how it's aligned different, and it says monorail. So this is the 1964 label. Here's side 2. Pretty cool. Oops. All right. And here's my living stereo version. And again, I'll just show you the vinyl. You look for the same stuff. This is how you'll know if it's a 1964 pressing by this label. The way stereo is written, and the label itself, just the way it's aligned and the font and all that. So, there you go. Cool. Alright, when Elvis was alive, this album wasn't really pressed a lot, but this is the next version of the album as a reissue I have. I want to say this is from 1977. Not really sure, but this is still sealed. But this is, I want to say, a 1977 pressing of Elvis's Back, eliminating the gatefold and adding a blue border with an RE3. So I want to say this is the third reissue. This is from the late, somewhere in the late 70s. But there you go. Here is that. Pretty cool. And my last and final pressing of the album, I promise, is, let me just get to it, so I gotta move all this stuff, is from 2016 on Friday Music. This is my Friday Music version of Elvis's Back. And I just want to tell you guys right away, I talked about Friday Music before. If you want this album as a reissue, get the Friday Music one. These Friday Music reissues sound amazing. You really can't go wrong. Usually they replicate the album pretty good, as you can see. There you go. And this sounds amazing. It's not even like you're listening to a record. And this time, though, it's on blue vinyl. Pretty awesome. Alright, so what should I show next? I think I'm going to show this, but I only have one. I have an A-track of Elvis's Back with a generic RCA sleeve. So this is an initial first pressing. If this was an initial first pressing, the slipcover would look like the sticker on the tape. So, but this is actually sealed. So it's pretty cool to have. There you go. Elvis's Back, A-track. And there's a reel-to-reel tape, which I do not have. That goes for a lot of money. Reel-to-reel tapes just go for a lot of money in general anyways. Alright. So I'm just going to show these as little bonuses. These are two other singles that appeared in 1960 from Elvis. This is some of the stuff that was recorded in April of 1960 that became singles. And the first one being this one, which is one of my favorite songs from Elvis, It's Now or Never, with A Mess of Blues. So you have that. And then, another big single from 1960. This is Are You Lonesome Tonight? With I Gotta Know. So there you go. And those end up being pretty good hits for Elvis too. Alright, the last thing I have. This is on CD format. This album appeared on CD multiple times. I want to say even sometime in the late 80s when they first started doing CDs. Again in the 90s. In 2010 there was a Legacy edition. But this is the version I have. This is the FTD that came out in 2005 of Elvis's Back. And this contains, you know, the original album, the original singles, and stuff from the recording sessions from March and April. So, let's just show you really quick. There you go. So, pretty awesome. But you know what, people? That is all the stuff I have affiliated with Elvis's Back. So, what do I think about Elvis's Back? I think if there's a list of essential albums you got to listen to of Elvis, this is definitely on that list. I really enjoy Elvis's Back. I enjoy it because it's like when Elvis came back from the army for me. His voice matured. His song selection matured. I really prefer early 60s Elvis, his voice, compared to the 50s Elvis that we heard before he came back from the army. And he started, choosing mature material. It was just great stuff. This is an album that's really worthy listening to. And I feel like sometimes people forget about this album. But this is just as worthy to listen to as From Elvis in Memphis. So if you have not heard this album, I totally recommend it. Especially if you're trying to get into Elvis and you want to listen to one of his essential albums. This is definitely one of them. Oh yeah, and this FTD I have of Elvis's Back. They just came out late last year. They came out with a box set of the complete Elvis's Back sessions. Well, the most complete. I don't know if it's really the complete. Who knows anymore? But anyways, I would like to get that one day. It's like a 4 CD box set. I would like to get that. But you know what, people? That is it for this video. I hope you found this video a little bit entertaining with some good information on collecting and, you know, history stuff and visuals and all that. Hope you really enjoyed it. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you next time. So see you later, and goodbye.